If you really liked Agatha All Along and you really liked the character that Aubrey Plaza played, Rio Vidal, then we have some possible great news for you today. Also, slight spoilers if you haven't seen Agatha All Along and have somehow managed to avoid all the spoilers from the internet. We are diving into spoilers now. So Rio Vidal is obviously Death. I think that was a great twist on the show. I think that was a great role for Aubrey Plaza to play. And apparently so does Marvel Studios. I mean, quite obviously, because they cast her for the role. But it looks like she's not done in the MCU. Not only were insiders reporting before Agatha All Along came out that she was going to be a very important character in Agatha All Along, but they were also reporting that Agatha All Along wasn't going to be the end for her and that she was going to show up in the MCU in other projects. And now that we know that she's Death, that makes sense. However, to solidify it even more, one of the sources who first told us that Rio Vidal, or Aubrey Plaza's character, was going to be Death, has a new report for us today stating that Rio Vidal, aka Death, is going to be getting her own spin-off show on Disney+. Also, because of something that Marvel Studios did, we have reason to believe that Agatha All Along is not going to be a one and done, but could possibly be getting a season 2. And given the reaction from the fans, a good majority of them at least, they want this. The show has amazing reaction and reception from fans, and whether you liked it or not, numbers don't lie, the show has been a success. Episode 8 drove 4.6 million views, which was a 48% increase from the premiere episode, and episode 9 brought in 3.9 million, which was a 26% increase from the premiere episode. Plus, not to mention, and this is quite interesting, the first 7 days it was on Disney Plus, it got 9.3 million global views, and you can compare that to 11 million views that Loki got. So it's really not that far from what I would consider Marvel's best Disney Plus show, Loki. Agatha does make my top 3 though, falling behind WandaVision. So when I heard the news about Marvel possibly making a season 2 for Agatha All Along and a spinoff for Death, I was super excited. So let's dive into those reports and dive into what it means for the future of these characters. And yes, we are going to be talking about the Scarlet Witch. It seems like all roads not only lead to Death, but right now in the MCU, they're also going to lead to the Scarlet Witch. And if you want to keep up to date with all of these characters in the series and the MCU in general, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. So first things first, Agatha Season 2. In a report from Variety, it seems like Marvel is hinting that a second season could come. In fact, their article's headline reads, Agatha All Along submits as comedy series for awards season, hinting that more seasons could come. So they're going to be in the comedy categories for the upcoming award season, including the Golden Globes, the SAG Awards, and the Emmys, of course. And they state, although the show was conceived as a mini-series, the announcement regarding its category shift strongly indicates that Agatha All Along, which follows the morally complex yet irresistible, charismatic witch Agatha Harkness, could continue beyond a single season. And here's the big reason that they believe a second season is coming, is because the criteria for a limited series by the Television Academy states the program must tell a complete, non-recurring story and not have an ongoing storyline or main characters in subsequent seasons. So they did not file under miniseries, and perhaps the reason they didn't do that is because they don't meet the criteria, because they are indeed planning a season 2, or at the very least would like to keep their options open to do a season 2, especially after they have seen how much the fans really did enjoy this series, how well it performed with the streaming numbers, and fans' eagerness after the finale to see what happens in the next chapter of the story with Agatha and Billy as they search for Tommy. A road that I'm assuming after they find Tommy leads to the Scarlet Witch. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Let's first dive into the news about Death possibly getting her own spin-off Disney Plus show. This report is coming from Giant Freaking Robot, who put on Twitter, breaking exclusive. We've learned Aubrey Plaza's Agatha Coven of Chaos character Death will get her own Disney Plus spin-off series. Now here's the thing, the big thing about this report coming from Giant Freaking Robot is that over a year ago, they reported, exclusive, Aubrey Plaza is Death in Agatha Coven of Chaos, when we at the time thought the show was titled Coven of Chaos. The article is still on their website. You can check it out. It's legit. So now they are reporting Death is getting her own Disney Plus series. And I think that this just makes sense. We need to see her interact with other characters who have died in the MCU. Imagine her interacting with Tony Stark after his death in Avengers Endgame. It would really be cool to see her perspective. Plus, not to mention, I really want to see her interact with Star-Lord, because her and Chris Pratt play Andy and April in Parks and Rec. If you've seen it, you know that you want to see them interact on screen together. It would just be cool to see. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch that show. It's awesome. They are married in the show and they're a great couple. But again, Death is a cosmic entity in Marvel Comics. And like she does explain in the show, she is a necessity. She's not evil. She is what she is. And Death is simply kind of just her job. She explained that in Agatha All Along, that she had to do something she didn't want to do, taking Agatha's son, Nicholas Scratch, but it was her job. Then in episode 8, she says that she is the natural order of all things. So obviously she's a very important character, and since she's the cosmic entity Death, I don't think she's going anywhere. Plus, it would be really cool to see what she did during the snap, because she's Death. She had to take all of those people, half the universe, but then they came back. She was already pretty shaken up and pretty upset that Billy could reincarnate himself, and she definitely didn't want Tommy coming back. So imagine how she felt after Hulk brought everybody back, after half of the universe who was dead came back to life. I think that would be really, really cool to see. And imagine what she thinks of somebody like the Scarlet Witch, a Nexus being who can shape reality. She probably isn't too fond of her as well, which would bring us back to connecting with Agatha. Now, first of all, I definitely want to see more about the relationship between Death and Agatha. We didn't really get an origin for their relationship. We essentially just saw the part where they broke up, where Death came for Agatha's son, and eventually 6 years down the road did take him. But we never saw how they got together. Now, Jack Schaefer, director and creator of the show, says that they did kind of a storyboard and illustrations of how they met, and they met over the bodies that Agatha killed, essentially. They met over corpses. But we want to see how they got together, what kind of things they did together. It looks like Agatha killed a lot of people throughout history. Agatha All Along made it seem like she was responsible for a lot of historical disasters like the Hindenburg. So there's a lot of story to tell there, but Agatha is going to continue to search for Tommy with Billy, and Death is still going to be Death, which means she's still very much not okay with Billy. And again, she probably hates that he brought Tommy into the world. So what happens next, I believe, is Agatha and Billy do eventually find Tommy. Agatha All Along episode 8 showed us that Tommy is now in this world. And much like in the comics, he seems to be born into a pretty bad family. In fact, in the comics, he's even in juvie at one point in time. And Agatha is actually a good character, meaning she is not evil in the comics. She's the nanny of Franklin Richards, the son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm, so she helps the Fantastic Four, and when she is a ghost in the comics, she actually helps train the Scarlet Witch. So perhaps that is what the future is heading towards, a reunion with the Scarlet Witch family, since we do have Vision Quest coming, and Tommy is now here and will most likely reunite with Billy very soon. That means the Scarlet Witch is going to have her entire family back. And we don't know what the Scarlet Witch is up to right now, but since Wiccan/Billy used his powers, she might be able to sense him now, because from what we know, the only reason she couldn't sense him before is because of the sigil that was placed upon him. But that is gone now, so she's probably going to sense him and go search for him, and when she finds him, she's probably going to find him and his brother Tommy, Vision as well, and a ghost Agatha. So I think this might actually lead to the comic story where Agatha helps Wanda. I think she's going to help her get her powers under complete control and maybe help her deal with some repercussions of the Darkhold, since Agatha had that before. Because even if Agatha isn't as powerful as the Scarlet Witch, she has lived a lot longer and seemingly has a little bit more knowledge than she has, or a lot more knowledge. She has lived for centuries. And to top it all off, Death already stated in the series that she hates ghosts. And now Agatha is a ghost. So she still technically doesn't have her prize yet. She's in love with Agatha and she wants her, but she doesn't have her yet because she's still attached to the Earth plane. Now, originally we heard that there was going to be a Wiccan series, but now it looks like the events of Wiccan and Agatha might take place in an Agatha season 2, which I'm totally here for. I am also totally here for a death series, but let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Do you want this? Do you not want this? Do you only want one? Do you want none? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news, rumors, and leaks. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.